What's up, everybody? Ben Cruz here, the head of sports programming at Vover, and welcome to another episode of One and Done here on Vover. The concept of One and Done is very simple. One guest, one question, one answer. That is it. We're looking to bring you the best guests and the best questions on every show, which will lead to the best answers. On today's episode, we welcome someone that people say is the king of NBA Twitter, which I push back on to say that I think he's the absolute king of Twitter, period. But he's also so much more than just a Twitter legend. Back in 2013, he sold his first show to Comedy Central, Legends of Chamberlain Heights. He's worked everywhere in sports, from NFL Network to Fox Sports to Jim Rome on Showtime. You can catch him on Out of Pocket on Wave TV, and most recently, you can catch his work as a writer and producer on the fantastic Netflix miniseries Colin in Black and White that explores Colin Kaepernick's life experiences that has led him to become who he is today. If you've ever posted a GIF or a clip from a movie relating to a moment in sports, you're likely just doing a King Josiah imitation. Josiah Johnson, welcome to One and Done. This isn't my question, more so just a greeting. How you doing today?
I was waiting for the how you doing, and I was like, "Yo, is that the one question?" So you beat me to it, but I'm doing good, man. Really appreciate the lovely intro. I love when people like yourself do a ton of research and come with that fact. And when you were talking, I'm like, damn, I did work on a lot of this stuff he's talking about. So it's great to go back down memory lane, man. But appreciate you having me on.
No, man, it's an honor. It's a pleasure. And again, just thanks so much for doing this. I know you're a busy dude. So I'm sure you've been wondering what my one question is. So I'm ready to fire it off if you're good to go.
Yep, ready to do it.
Let's do it. So, as I mentioned while introducing you, you've done a lot of work behind the scenes, in the sports world, and again, you've had you're much more than just your Twitter profile, right? But you've had so many incredible viral moments on there that I think that's where just a lot of people know you from, and for those of us who spend way too much time on there crafting tweets and low key hoping they take off. I mean, you've done it. You know what I mean? Like, you fulfilled almost that like Twitter dream, if you will, that a lot of us strive for. To use that platform as a jumping off point into something bigger. So, my question to you is, I mean, what has that journey been like for you personally to elevate your career even further using a platform like Twitter?
For me, it's been very rewarding and fulfilling. I think the thing about social media in general is that social media is just so young that when you think about it, it's been around, 20, 25 years, if you want to call that, with the instant messenger and all that stuff back in the day. And it's still so new to a lot of people, and we're still learning a lot about it. And just to be able for me to carve out a niche in the space and really just get the support, for people like LeBron James, people like John Legend, people like Ava DuVernay, to know that Ava is sending my memes to Oprah in group chats and things like that. It's truly phenomenal. But for me, it's very, very validating. I remember when I was doing Legends of Chamberlain Heights, that was kind of my first foray really into social. Up until that point, I really did not care about Twitter and things like that. I just thought it would be a waste of time, and I devote too much energy to it and not really have a lot to show for it. But looking at shows like Insecure, looking at shows like Game of Thrones that really carved out a space on social, created a community around their programs, I wanted to try to do the same thing for Legends of Chamberlain Heights. Obviously, they had a lot beefier budgets, when you talk about HBO and what they were putting into those type of things versus what I was getting. I think I was getting paid less than minimum wage in California to run the social for Legends of Chamberlain Heights. But it was like I used it as a learning experience, as a PhD experience. And it was funny, man. I was trying to convince a lot of people that I was working on the project with that, this is going to be the real way for us to carve our lane. And a lot of them didn't want to hear it, kind of had a lot of negative things to say to me, really tried to tear me down for the stuff that I was doing on that side. But I just kept my head focused on the straight and narrow. Would have small gains and victories. I remember when I was running the Legends of the Chamberlain Heights account and Nipsey Hussle followed the account. For me, that was like, I'm from LA. Wow. I'm a big Nip fan. And just to see the impact that it had, or people like Shaq were giving, love to the show and saying he stayed up all night watching Legends episodes and things like that. So after Legends of Chamberlain Heights got canceled, I was kind of left in this no man's land where, I feel like a lot of people wanted to use me as a cautionary tale, wanted to use me as I told you so. You see, you wasted all your time doing that, and look what you have to show for it. But like I said, I just kept my head on the straight and narrow, really saw the value in just how social was going to grow. And I started really, doing social for the show late 2015, 2016, 2017. After that, transferred everything to my own account. And for me, Twitter, it's funny. I was at the Rams-Titans game Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
And, was there with TJ Adishola and a bunch of people from the Twitter side. And Twitter, for me, for my money, is just a great platform just for live tweeting, live engagement, and really having live conversation. You can't really have those same type of convos on Instagram and other platforms. It's just not, those apps aren't conducive to what Twitter's able to provide, just in terms of, in the moment, things happen and everybody just responds to it, and the ability and functionality of the platform. So, around 2018, I really started focusing energy on my own platform, trying to just find my lane on Twitter, a lot of trial and error. A lot of stuff that, I look back on, I did a lot of stuff in the voiceover space when I first started. I said, hey, I had a show on Comedy Central. I did a lot of VO work for that. I was doing 6-7 voices an episode. Noticed a lot of amazingly talented people like Savvy the Amusing and DJ Michi Meech, who were really carving out a lane in that space. And I'm like, yo, it's a very finite amount of people that are working on the voiceover side. I'm going to get in there. Had a lot of wins, had some losses too. And definitely, some mental health issues as a result of those losses. You put up, Twitter's a great spot. It's like being a stand-up comedian, right? You put up a meme, a joke, a GIF, whatever. Right away, you will find out, if people are rolling with it or if people hate it. And people on Twitter hold no punches. They will gladly throw tomato gifts at you and everything else in the world to let you know how much they dislike you and hate you. And I'm just looking like, I don't care. If somebody tells a joke that's not funny, I will never go out of my way to try to tear them down or just, but that's not the space I live in with trolls and things like that. But to see the wins that I got, people like Jordan Peele. I remember I did a Antonio Brown meme back in the days when he signed with the Patriots. Get out meme that Jordan Peele ended up seeing. He ended up quote tweeting and say, "You win, Josiah." That's literally like the cover photo of my Twitter now. A lot of people don't know where that came from, but that was from Jordan Peele, and this is like 2019. And for me, it was like, all right, I must be doing something right, because the people I look up to, people I aspire to be like, are now seeing Twitter and this social front and seeing the value in it and telling me how important it is. People like Chio Hoker, who's Luke Cage showrunner and worked on a bunch of tremendous projects, but just telling me the importance and value that memes have and just the cultural influence that they have. So like I said, I stayed on the straight and narrow, kept grinding, battled through a lot of the trolls, the hatred, the misery, just realized that a lot of those people are projecting their own inequities, their own inabilities to be as successful as people like myself. So to see, all the positive that's come from it, people like Jordan Peele, like I said, LeBron giving me the cosign back on June 10th, 2021, which is a national holiday for me. From this point forward, I will not be working on any June 10th for the remainder of my life. Just a day of reflection and acknowledgement and appreciation. But to see the impact that has, and now to see those same people who years ago were hating on me, were shitting on me, were being super disrespectful, condescending, and had this really, really, angry tone towards the work I was doing, not really appreciating all the effort I was putting in. Like I look back at Legend of Chairman Heights, and I probably did about $1 million worth of promo on that show, not really understanding what CPMs were, not really understanding, what the advertising space looked like on social. But I use that as a learning experience. So now I like to say I have a PhD in social. So I'm super thankful for that opportunity and the people at Comedy Central for putting me in that position to eventually succeed. And I feel like, there was people even over there who were naysayers and didn't understand the value of it. Now those same people are hitting me up saying, oh, how do we do social and how do we do this? And, can you help me with strategy and this and that? It's like, yeah, I can help you, but not for free. Like, this is a big industry.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
The same thing I try to impress upon a lot of people that look like me in this space that are trying to get on and trying to do things. Like, a lot of people will put up a tweet and that tweet will go viral and they don't even realize that that thing's going to end up on 50 to 100 Instagram accounts. That thing's going to get repurposed, reused, regurgitated by pretty much everybody under the sun. And all those people are going to get paid for it. They're going to benefit from it. You look at a lot of IG accounts, started by people who necessarily aren't Black, that they use a lot of Black culture, and same thing on TikTok and other spaces, that these people are now making millions of dollars, getting TV deals and all types of branded and marketing deals when they admittedly have no clue what they're doing. Their whole infrastructure and industry relies on the talent to go out there, the creatives to go out there and put the content out that they now steal. They use other terminology for it, but it's just blatant steal and disrespect. And for me, it's just trying to show people the value that social has, the value that branded, the companies and marketing agencies, things like that, who used to turn their nose at social now are desperately trying to get in the game and reaching out to people like myself, throwing me heavy bags to help them run their numbers up on projects. Like it's always amazing to me when I see companies that have multi-million-dollar budgets and they'll put a video up on social and that video will do 200 views, 300 views, 400 views. When it's like, if I put a video up on Twitter, I'll never see a video with 400 views because by the time I refresh, it's already in the thousands. So, it's understanding this game, but also the power that we possess, especially in the Black culture, Black Twitter. Twitter is an amazing platform, but Twitter was really found on the backs of Black Twitter, which continues to be, because Black Twitter can take any topic, anything going on in the world and turn it into, a viral sensation. So for me, just looking at the way that Twitter has grown and expanded in its infancy, and it's funny, I see a lot of people, that teach college courses or teach things like that in social, and it's like, well, you don't even have a successful social account. You don't, you're literally professor of this, that, whatever, but you don't even know how to use these platforms, and you're trying to encourage and instruct other people on how to do it. I kind of just laughed to myself, knowing, I'm going to do over 2 billion impressions this year on Twitter alone, just with content. And people always ask me, you do have a team, and how many people do you got working for you? You must have a bunch of people because you don't miss and this, that, whatever. It's like, it's me, internet connection in my phone. I tweet whatever I feel like, but I also like to stand behind everything I tweet. Everything I tweet from my account is coming from me. So I don't like to, a lot of accounts will hide behind, the Avi and a lot of troll accounts and whatever. People don't want to put their names on things, which is a sad state of reality of the world that we're in. But for me, I put my name on everything. If it's coming from you, if you've got a problem with it, come see me. If not, if you appreciate it, come give me some blessings and encouragement. So just to look at the way the platform has really grown and expanded, and really trying to just be at the forefront of this new movement, because like I said, social is so young. It's in its infancy still. It's only been around 20 years. You look at other industries that have been around 50, hundreds of years. We're still learning things. We're still growing. We're all still kind of developing and making our way. And I just love Twitter, especially for the community they built around the NBA, which is what I'm really a big fan of. I will dip into NFL Twitter, music Twitter, political Twitter, all the other Twitters out there. But NBA Twitter, for my money, is the best sports community going in the game. And shout out to TJ Adeshola and the whole crew over at Twitter Sports, really fostering a community that really encourages people. Nowadays, I remember 4 or 5 years ago, there weren't really faces to go with these names. People like Dragonfly Jones kind of existed in the shadows. People like LeJethro Jenkins, like you would hear them pod or whatever, but you didn't see them in the street. You wouldn't know who these guys are. Now these guys are really elevated to the forefront of these movements, people like Mero and Deezus, and what they've been able to do just kind of for the community and the culture, just to show that we run this. So, back in my day, even I'm doing a lot of on-air stuff now, which is amazing. But if I would have tried to do that 5-10 years ago, people would laugh in my face. I would get laughed out of buildings and rooms, and, people would never give me an opportunity. But what I've been able to do with social to leverage that just to grow my brand and expand, I think is a phenomenal thing. So I'm forever thankful to Twitter. A lot of other platforms would hit me up to try and come and do stuff for them. But it's just like, for my money, nothing beats Twitter. I love the community. I love the way that you can just, we all watch a game at that same moment. We see a meme or we see something that happens. I'm saying I'm watching a Nets game and Bruce Brown shoots a ill-advised floater, and I throw up a meme, and LeBron sees that, and calls me a GOAT as a result of that. So, that thing can change your life pretty much overnight. It wasn't for me. It was a slow grind, but it has the potential. I've seen so many people now benefit from the platform and go on to do such amazing things. People like Shea Serrano, who's, multi-time New York Times bestselling author. Shea, just a living legend, real guy, like just connects with people, loves just the culture and loves giving back and helping people. People like Matthew Cherry, who literally, started, crowdsourcing campaigns to make his movie Hair Love, went on to win an Oscar, and now he's dominating the entertainment industry. So it's just so many incredible, amazing people that have been able to use this platform and use social to show how talented they are, that a lot of people who used to sniff their noses at it and act like they were too good, and how, social's beneath me, digital's beneath me. Now everybody, with the advent of streaming and all these sites, is running to Twitter. And how do we really get our brand out, and how do we do a cool campaign that the kids are rallying behind? So I kind of giggle to myself now when people come to me, the same people who used to, have a snooty pooty attitude towards me, are now like, oh, Josiah, can you help us do this, that, or whatever, and try to pretend like I don't remember, when they were telling me that there was no value in social and I was wasting my time. But like I said, I just tax some extra, extra on the bag, no hard feelings.
There you go.
No hard feelings. Just break bread. No big deal. Like, I'm not mad at you. That bag's going to need to be fluffier though, to account for your apology. I don't need an apology. Apologize with more bread. That's how I accept apologies. But, so I'm just super, super appreciative of the platform and to be able to get my flares out on it every single day.
I mean, to your point, it's wild to think about that, social just in general is still right in its infancy, right? I think like most of us who spend a lot of time on Twitter or even IG, right? We just feel like it's been there forever. In reality, you're right. It hasn't. People are still figuring this thing out, and you're obviously at the forefront of figuring it out. And that's why people are throwing you the bag now, right? And it's very well deserved. And, I just, for my money, I just want to, publicly like thank you for kind of making Twitter can get toxic. I mean, you touched on it earlier, right? Like the haters and the trolls are just out there. But on any given NBA night, right? Like there's, you'll throw something up and it'll just kind of like make people's days. And like, I know maybe you don't think about it like that, but from my perspective, like you do, like you just bring, it's after long days and stuff, you see kind of like, a pop culture moment connecting with a moment in the NBA, and it's freaking awesome. So I just wanted to publicly thank you for kind of just being a non-toxic part of Twitter and NBA Twitter, but Twitter as a whole. But
Yeah.
There we go. Just, I mean, first, that was an incredible answer. So hopefully everyone's listening to this was taking notes. Just listen, go back again for that. But Josiah, that's it, man. That's your one and done experience. I wanted to throw it to you to plug anything else that you've got going on right now, new projects, episodes of anything you got going on. The floor is yours, sir.
Man, I don't really want to plug anything. I just want to kind of echo what you were saying before. And I think for me, like we've all been in toxic places in our life, done a lot of dumb stuff, done a lot of stuff that maybe tear people down and stuff that we regret. And I'm no different than a lot of people. But I think what I've learned in my life, and I'm a little bit older now, is that you just have to try and encourage and uplift as many people as possible. I always say, what's the point of building my following up if I can't help other people grow theirs as well and take other people along with me? It's, I don't want to be at the top by myself. I want to be there with the people that I rock with and I roll with. And, for me, there's so much negativity out there, especially in the Twitter space. A lot of people, cowards, hiding behind, troll accounts that want to get tough and talk tough. And, social's like a drug. So they feel like they can say the most reckless, out-of-pocket, wild stuff to you because they're hiding behind a Steph Avi or a Frog Avi or whatever's going on. And I think it's really just doing, the platform a disservice. I think all of us need to just help each other try to improve. And look, might be a fan of teams that don't get along or players that don't get along or whatever it may be. But we all, are in this thing together. As much as we may not want to believe that, I think this pandemic showed some of us that, it showed others that, the level of idiocy in the world and how ridiculous human beings are and how stupid they are in their ways of thinking. But ultimately, at the end of the day, man, I just try to be as supportive as possible, even the people that hate me. It's funny, like I got all these haters out there, these little young kids who hate everything, and I just look at them. I was like, look, I'm running more numbers than your whole crew every day of the week. Like, it's not, so you can hate me all you want. I'm putting numbers up. You should be asking questions. You should be trying to study and learn the game, because if those same kids reached out to me for advice or anything, I'd be happy to give it to them. I love just talking social and being around people who are interested in the world, man. So I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. That was a great question, too. I know I dragged on with the answer, but I really appreciate you bringing me on this joint.
No dragging at all, man. That was just one-on-one and just kind of how to take off and kind of do this social thing the right way. Josiah, thanks so much for coming on One and Done, man, and hope to have you back on again soon.
I really appreciate you, brother.